shadowy flight into the dangerous world of a man who is fearless. A young loner on a crusade to champion the cause in a world of reckless automobiles. These are my Motovlogs.
Okay, you still with us, Mark?
Yep.
All right, I had to pay some bills.
No worries.
So yeah, you brought up a very good point where you mentioned about the new Honda Gold Wing and the CB radio, and how Honda has made it basically unattractive to buy the CB radio for the new Gold Wing. The price is just ridiculously high for anybody that's considering putting a CB radio on their Honda Gold Wing. Is that correct?
Yeah. That's man. I mean, if you take a look at a level, not a level, first gen or second gen Gold Wing. Let's just use that for the sake of argument. You're looking at, if you go on Wing stuff, you can get it for like, sometimes they have them on sale for $549.
Right.
Okay, and then you know, depending on which one, which generation Gold Wing you have, one may be just a tad more expensive, not much.
Right.
Now you got to find someone to install it. Dealers are going to rip you off for about $200 to $300 for installation.
Right.
And so you're about $1,000 into a CB for a Gold Wing. Once you buy the antenna and all that and get it installed, but I mean, when you start pricing out all of the parts for a CB on a 2018 and up,
right,
it's just insane.
Right.
It's insane. And I think you're somewhere into it for like $1,700 before you even get it installed.
Right. And so if you're doing it yourself, you're talking about $1,000. Just if you're doing it yourself, unless you can find it online for about $500 or $600. But if you actually walked into a dealership and say, hey, I want to get a CB radio for my new 2018 through 21 Gold Wing, they're going to they may even charge you a couple $1,000s for parts and labor and installation with the antenna. And when it's all said and done, which is ridiculously high for a CB radio, which brings me to this point. The Cardo I've been using for quite a while, and Cardo, had explained to me that with the new Gold Wings that you can Bluetooth your Cardos to those new Gold Wings, and you can use your CB radio if you have it. You can use it wireless with the newer Gold Wings. But here recently, I talked to a new Gold Wing owner that has the CB radio, and he was saying that it doesn't work the way it's supposed to, even though you're wireless. So I've never experienced this because I don't own the new Gold Wing. I've never owned it. I've never used a CB radio in a new Gold Wing, only the GL 1800.
Right.
From what he's telling me, that even with Cardo Bluetooth wireless to the new Gold Wing, that the CB radio cuts out as you're using your Cardo. It cuts off a part of your voice. So I haven't experienced this. If anybody have experienced using a CB radio with the new Gold Wing, what has been your experience? Is it cutting off your voice? Does it work the way it's supposed to? Is there some hidden flaws that we may not know about? Because I haven't used it, so I don't know one way or the other. But from what I'm told, that hooking that Cardo to the new Gold Wing wirelessly does not work perfectly with the CB radio. So I'm not sure if you hook a Sena to it, will you get the same results? Or if it was just an isolated case with that particular person that had a new Gold Wing. So I'm curious about that. If anybody out there has a new Gold Wing and they have a wireless device, either the Sena or the Cardo, hooked to that new Gold Wing, how is it with your CB transmission? Does it work absolutely perfect, or are there flaws? And if there are flaws, what are those flaws? I'm curious to know about those. Have you heard anything as far as Any problem?
No, but I have a theory because I've used free wires, and I have friends that have Harleys that have the WHIM, and so let's talk about that for a second. When Harley came out with their 2016 boom infotainment system on their new touring bikes, if you wanted connectivity, because they abandoned their 7-pin DINs. I think it was on the 2017s and up. They don't have DIN connectors anymore. When they did that, they basically said, okay, if you want that kind of connectivity with the bike, you have to buy the WHIM. And that's the wireless headset interface module for anybody who doesn't know what a WHIM is, WHIM.
Okay.
And then you have to buy a Harley stamped 20S Evo or a 30K headset. It's not a Cardo,
right?
But it has to be a Sena headset.
Right.
So what that there tells me is that the WHIM is nothing more than 2 free wires encased in a box.
Right.
And they call it a WHIM. Sena puts a codec on it so that if any other 30K user that doesn't have a stamped 30K tries to use it, they can't because they're missing that codec to interface with the WHIM.
Right.
And so, but if you think about it, Cardo does not have that capability of connecting with the free wire and giving you hands-free CD control.
Correct.
And so if they don't have that for Cardos, they're definitely not going to have that for a Honda Goldwing that you Bluetooth interface with. I believe that the technology inside the Honda 2018s and up comes from the Sena FreeWire. They're using Sena FreeWire type technology in the 2018 and up Goldwings to give you that full functionality with with the CB if you happen to go buy a CB for 2018 and up.
Right.
And that would be up to someone that follows you that has that setup to say, hey, pair your Cardo to your 2018 and up Goldwing that has a CB and see if it works. And then find someone who has a 30K or a 50S, pair that now and see how it works. Right. I don't think that Cardo, I know Cardo doesn't have the technology similar to a free wire.
Right.
So that leads me to believe that wireless interface module inside the Honda Goldwings is almost the same stuff that you find inside of a Harley.
Wow.
And only a 30K or a 50S will work with it.
Right.
That's what I believe.
Right.
Of course, you'll never get Sena or Cardo to acknowledge that.
Right.
But if you really start, think about it in terms of, well, what makes it work? Well, the only thing that can work with a free wire is a 30K or 50S.
Right.
If you try to hook up a Cardo to a free wire, I think you said that's possible. You get everything but the transmit capability.
Right.
You can even hear the CB.
Right. You can listen.
You just can't transmit.
That's correct.
That's because there's a codec there that the free wire, that the Sena blocks outside users from being able to access that functionality. Otherwise, Cardo could just say, hey, we'll just, you could just connect to a Sena free wire with our headset. Sena doesn't want that because Sena wants to corner the market on that device. You want to use a free wire for a CB use, you need to use a Sena headset.
Right.
Because now they get you on both ends. They get you on the headset side and they get you on the interface side.
And here's also, Mark, here's another thing that I found out between the Sena and the Cardo, because like you said, today I'm using my Sena 50. Earlier I had on my Sena 50, and I had on the Cardo Packtalk Bold. Now, Cardo advertises that you can hook up a non-branded Cardo to their headset. So what they're saying is you could actually hook a Sena to the Cardo But here's what they're not telling you, that you can, they're correct, you can actually hook a Sena to a Cardo together, but it's only going to work properly if you're both sitting on the same bike, for like rider and passenger scenario. So from my experience, and I don't know if you've experienced this, and you can share with me if you have, but so for example, today I had War Wagon and Funny Girl, they was on Cardos, and I was on my Sena 50, and I was able to pair my Sena 50 to their Cardo, but the volume was so low I couldn't even hear them.
Yeah, I can hear you. You got like a very little bit of crackle to it, very little already.
I don't hear any at all.
Maybe my turn my volume down. Maybe my volume is too loud. There we go.
Oh, Lord help.
Yeah, I'll pull up here so we can both roll out pretty much when we're ready. Yeah, I'm not sure. The Cardos, we seem to be picking you up good, but you just can't hear us very good.
Yeah, I hear him good.
Right, I can barely hear y'all, but for some reason, I guess y'all can hear me pretty good.
Yeah.
So I tried to.
Everybody. I'm rocking out. I wish I could hear this. It's really good. It's Backstreet Boys.
Now, if they were standing right next to me and it was, we was not rolling on the road or the highway, I could hear them. I can hear them fairly decent. But if they're on their bikes and I'm on my bike, they're on their Cardo and I'm on my Sena, that I couldn't hear them. So I actually had to put on my Cardo headset because they had on Cardos. So the point and the moral of that particular instance is that you need to find out what your group is riding with. Are we riding with Cardos? Are we riding with Senas? There's nothing wrong with having both of them. There's nothing wrong with having a helmet with a 50S or a 30K in it. There's nothing wrong with having a helmet with a Cardo in it. But you need to find out what the group is riding with, and everybody wear the same helmet. So either we're gonna all wear Sena 50s or we all gonna wear Cardos. But when you're talking about pairing, when you're talking about cross-branding two different headsets, it doesn't work the way they make it sound. Yes, you can pair a Sena to a Cardo. You have to give up one of the phone slots, but you can do it. But the audio is not going to be, at least from my experience, it's not going to be legible from two different bikes. It would work if the Cardo and Sena are on the same bike. Now, that's been my experience, but now maybe Mark, maybe you had a different experience that you can share if you know of anything differently.
No, I really don't. I think that, if you have two different headsets and you got two people on one bike and you have two different headsets that are connected to the bike, I think perhaps maybe the bike sorts out, the difference. Whereas rather than having to go into a universal motion or universal, pairing sequence,
right,
the bike probably filters all that out and says, okay, I got two different headsets. The passenger has a Cardo, the rider has a Sena 50S. I'll sort all that out so they don't have to go into universal pairing mode. But I just, I don't use it enough. I've never used it in that kind of a capacity to make an informed decision. I just basically, it's a theory that I have.
Right. Well, that's been my experience. And like I said, we tested it out today. I was out doing tests. And, we didn't pair the headsets to the bike. We're talking just, rider to rider, headset to headset. And we tried pairing the Sena to the Cardos, which we were successful. But I couldn't hear them when we actually rode. You couldn't hear them. So a lot of times it's what these companies are not telling you. It's what they're not telling you. They may tell you, you can pair these headsets together, but what they may not tell you is that they only work 5 feet apart. So, I don't know if that's been somebody else's experience, if somebody else is watching this feed and they want to share that with us. Have you paired your Sena 50 or 30 to a Cardo or vice versa? And how did it work on 2 different bikes? Now, if you guys was on the same bike, like a rider and passenger, well, I know that will work because you're right there together. Yeah. But what happens when you pair that Cardo to a Sena and they're on another bike? You're on bike, you're on a Harley, they're on a Goldwing, or you guys are on 2 different bikes. How was the communications? But it's been my experience up to this point is that it's not really going to work properly. So it's my experience that either everybody need to have Senas or everybody need to wear Cardo. But when you're trying to cross brand, that's when you kind of run into a snag. So that's been my experience up to this point. Yeah. So I do agree.
Well, I think that the best solution for any motorcycle, club is, if you can swing, the cost of it, have a helmet that has Cardos and have a helmet that has free wires or Sena, 50Ss or 30Ks.
Right.
I try to get people nowadays to just steer clear of the 20S, even though the 20S Evo is a proven headset, and there certainly is a use for it. Some people, you might have a couple that all they want to do is communicate with each other. She wants to listen to her music on the back of the bike. He wants to listen to his music on the back of the bike, on the front of the bike, and they want to talk to each other. And, you can even do that with a SMH10.
Right.
And accomplish that. You don't need to spend the money that you would spend on a 20S Evo for that.
Right.
But so these headsets all have, there's a different purpose for them. What you buy depends on how you want it to operate, how much functionality you want out of it. And I think that's where a lot of people get mixed up when it comes to Bluetoothing. It's not just Bluetooth anymore. You've got to remember it's Bluetooth and now it's mesh.
Right.
And so, there's a perfectly good scenario where Bluetooth works fine for people. You don't need to go spend the money on a mesh communicator. You're never going to ride with a bunch of other people, and it's just going to be you two on the bike.
Right.
And all you need to do is be able to communicate with one another. And the 20S Evo or the SMH10, or even like the Cardo. What's the non-mesh? 3Com or something like that. The Cardo.
Yeah.
There's a Cardo. There's an equivalent Cardo out there. I think it's the 3Com. Even that will work. And so you really have to first ask yourself what it is you want to accomplish with a headset. And then once you figure out that, then you need to figure out, okay, well, which one is going to work best for me?
Right.
And then that's when you can make the decision as to, if you got a group of 8 guys that ride all the time, mesh is the way to go.
Right.
Mark, it's the easiest.
I totally agree with you, and I'm going to be, talking about that in some later videos. But you're exactly right. You have to determine what is it that you're looking for in a headset. As a regular user, not a motovlogger, but just as a regular biker, all you're doing is talking to your biker friends. You're not trying to record audio. You're not trying to make videos. You're not trying to YouTube. All you're doing is talking to another biker. A lot of headsets will do that. You could take 2 20Ss and be able to talk to another biker. But, you have to determine what it is you're trying to accomplish. Am I trying to listen to music? Am I trying to record? Am I trying to motovlog? Am I trying to talk on the CB radio? Am I trying to just, rider passenger?
Exactly.
You have to find exactly what your goals are and work toward and find a headset that's going to allow you to work toward those goals. Because as a motovlogger, in my situation, it's going to be totally different from a regular user. It's just it's just going to be different. Even trying to record the audio from the Sena 50 is a challenge. Trying to record the audio from a Cardo Packtalk is even a bigger challenge. But if all you're doing is just you and a buddy out riding your bikes and it's just you and him on the headsets and no one is trying to record, no one is trying to YouTube, you don't have to worry about that obstacle. So I think you're 100% correct. You have to find exactly what you are trying to accomplish and find a headset that's going to allow you to accomplish that goal, because they all are the same, but they have different features that allow you to do different things depending on what it is you're trying to accomplish.
Right. And then again, if you're looking for ease of use, then I'll always tell somebody, just get a 30K.
Right.
You know, you don't even have to get a 50S. Just get a 30K. And this is how easy it is for you to pair to somebody.
Right.
And so, you know, but, you know, and that's one of the things that, you know, if you know, one of the things I love about Facebook and I love about your page and is there's so many people that are part of these groups that know so much more than I do.
Right.
And I learn a lot from listening to them, and I learn a lot from not even commenting on a thread, but just reading through a thread, you know, and saying, oh, okay, never thought of that, you know, never even considered that. And, you know, whenever I try to lend some insight or some input into someone who's asking a question, you know, I always try, one of the questions is, what do you hope to accomplish? What do you want to do?
Right.
Because, you know, and some people will get on there and, you know, they hijack the thread and they say, you know what, just abandon it. You shouldn't be talking on it. You shouldn't be on your phone. Everything should be put away. And it's like, okay, we're past all that. They've already established that they want to, hold on one second. Okay. They've already established that they want a Bluetooth. They already established they want connectivity with their phones. So leave them alone.
Right.
You know, you have nothing to lend to that conversation, and I say that humbly. You know, just, you know, don't, you know, I appreciate what they're trying to do. They're erring on the side of safety, and you know, because anybody who you know, there's some people who think that we shouldn't have any connectivity at all,
right.
Just a helmet,
right?
And we should be doing hand signs and all of this, that, and the other. But you know what? You know, sorry, man. I can be safe and I can use a headset.
That's right.
If they can't multitask, that's on them.
That's right.
You know, and if I, you know, lose attention and something befalls me really bad, that's on me.
Right.
You know. So you know
I totally agree. Who would do hand signals at night? I mean, that's not even. You know, you get caught out here in the dark, your hand signals are.
Yeah, they're useless.
Yeah, they're useless. So.
Yeah, useless. I can't tell you how many times the 30K has helped us and helped us avert a problem,
right?
Simply because we had the communication,
right?
You know, I can't tell you how many times it's invaluable. You know, it makes the purchase well worth it.
Right. Well, like I said today, Mark, I went out and purchased 2 more Sena 50s. You know, and I have several Cardos. And I just believe that, you know, it kind of goes back, not to be redundant, not to beat a dead horse. It's kind of, it goes back to what you said earlier, and I agree with you 1,000%. Yeah. It depends on how you plan on using that headset.
Right.
Everybody uses it to be the same, because I ride with guys that say, listen, I'm not trying to record. I don't want to have anything to do with a video. I just want to be able to talk to you in the group when we're riding. Yep. I don't want to mess with audio equipment and record, and you know, so you just have to find the headset that works best for you, which I think that the best headsets out there would be the Sena 50 and the 30. Right. The Cardo. Now you can get a Sena 30, which is just like a 50, but you know, they pretty much would do the same thing. Some of the differences are different. One may have features that the other one don't. They both have advantages and disadvantages, and I'll be talking about that in some later videos after I finish my field test of the Sena 50. But you just have to find what works best for you and go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the other thing that the other thing that some of our, you know, some of your viewers, some not ours, people don't understand that, you know, when, you know, we talked about the free wire and how the free wire works. Well, let's be clear. The free wire is a hack. Right. It's a hack with lipstick on it that makes it look good. It's a hack. You know, it really is. And Sena was genius when they came out with it, and the way they package it and the way they advertise it. But again, it's it's a hack, and its lifespan is short. And I don't mean like tomorrow they're going to stop making free wires, but at some point in time, there's just going to be bikes that aren't going to need a free wire.
Right.
And there's just not going to be a need to make them anymore because there's just not a big of enough of a market. But another device that Sena puts out for those folks that are wishing to, keep it somewhat cheap, and I've heard good and bad things about it, is the Plus Mesh device that Sena makes.
Right.
And it's kind of bulky. I don't know if you've heard of it, but what it does is it converts any Bluetooth communicator into a mesh signal.
Okay.
So if you have, let's just say you have an SMH10 3.0. If you pair the SMH10 to the Plus Mesh device, it converts your Bluetooth communication into a mesh communication,
right,
which allows you to communicate with other mesh users. It goes for about $150, and I mean $150.
Right.
But I have not heard very good reviews on it.
Okay.
And so if there's anybody out there that has used this device that can lend some insight about how it works, that would be, and here, let me read it to you. The easy-to-use Plus Mesh adapter will turn any headset, into a more advanced and flexible communication device with the simple push of a button. Mesh network technology will instantly connect you to a virtually limitless amount of users and provide a more stable connection by intelligently searching for lost intercom connections and automatically reconnecting them once back within range, while the rest of the group stays connected.
Right.
So basically, it turns your 20S or your SMH10 into a 30K.
Mark, I can actually see that working, because even with the Sena 50, you can pair a regular Bluetooth device, because with the Sena 50 you can pair up to 4 devices that are not just regular 4 Bluetooth. You can pair up to 4 devices that are not mesh. So, like for example, you can pair up to 4 Sena 20Ss. So, with the 50, if I were to pair a non-mesh device to my Sena 50, it would actually bridge it over into the mesh conversation.
Okay.
So with that being said, I can actually see a device that's right on your bike that allows you to pair a non-mesh device to that Sena, and it takes that signal and makes it mesh and allows it, to switch over. So I can actually see that working. Now, whether it works or not, I don't know. I don't know of anybody that used it. Like you said, if there is anybody out there that actually has that device, that has taken a regular Bluetooth device and converted it over to the mesh, how does it work? What's your thoughts about it? Is it accurate? Or, what's been your experience with it? I've never used it, but I can actually see a device like that working, Mark, because if you compare a non-mesh device to your 50, and it will automatically bridge it over to your mesh mode, I can see them having a device that allows you to pair a regular Bluetooth device to that Sena, and then it converts it over to mesh. So I can see it working in theory, but the question is, does it actually work?
Right. And $150 is a lot of money to pay to
find out,
guinea pig something. But those are options out there available. Basically, what it is, it's a hack that it tricks 30Ks into thinking that your 20S is a 30K.
Right.
And so, but there's so many different options out there available for you, and it's good that people tune into your channel, your YouTube videos and your Facebook pages, and to get the lowdown on a lot of this stuff, because it's so hard to make a decision unless you know what you're looking for, or what you want. And but that's why we have forums like this, so that we can try to help people make informed decisions while not breaking the bank. And then again, there's people who doesn't care. I'll pay whatever. I'll buy one of each and see which one works, and the rest of them I'll just throw in a box. Never use them again. Right. So I wish I had that problem, but I don't. So.
I hear a lot of people. They may say, "Well, I'm tired of chasing the technology. I bought a Cardo, I'm not going to buy a Sena. Or I bought a Sena, I'm not going to buy a Cardo." And I understand that, but I want people to understand that technology is always moving. It's not sitting still.
Yeah.
They're always
like computers.
Improvement. So, I started out with dial-up internet, moved up to DSL, then moved up to the next level of internet service. Now I'm at fiber optics, and there's no telling what they're going to come out with next. So the technology is always moving. But let me say this. This is one point I want to get to real quick, is that at least I want to give Sena credit, because at least Sena is trying different things. They are trying to improve the helmet communications. They are trying to improve the Bluetooth communications. Now,
I agree.
Cardo, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but it just seems like Cardo is just, they're in neutral. They have the Packtalk Bow, which is a great headset. They have the Dynamic Mesh, which is a great headset. But Cardo is not making any other devices. They're, now that's not to say they can't come out with anything down the road. That's not to say they can't come up with anything later. But as of this video, Cardo does not have a device like the FreeWire that'll plug into the Goldwing.
And they never will.
Yeah, Cardo doesn't have a all-in-one camera that will allow you to motovlog and record your ride activities, even if it's a low-resolution camera. Cardo doesn't have that device that we just talked about that allows you to transfer Bluetooth over into mesh. Cardo, to me, and again, like I said, they could come out with something tomorrow, but as of this video, Cardo seems like they're in cruise control. Now, that's not to say that they don't have technicians in their lab trying to figure out how to take it to the next level, but at least I can give credit to Sena. Sena is at least trying. Now, they may not always be successful. Like I said, with that 30K, to me was a bust, but they came back and corrected it with the update, the Sena 50. So at least give Sena credit for at least trying to do something.
Yeah.
Trying to take it to the next level. So I just want to point that out.
No, I completely agree with that. I think, for Cardo, I think they've found a safe lane of travel.
Right.
And a customer base. And, bottom line is, if you can make widgets and sell 100,000 of them a month, with no problem, there's no reason to make anything else.
Right.
And I mean, if you're selling enough widgets to make yourself wealthy and serve a need, there's no reason to steer outside the lane.
And one reason I said that, Mark, is because when I've had conversations with my contact over at Cardo, I talked to them about hey, why don't we create a device? Why don't you guys create a device that allow you to hook up to the Honda Goldwing DIN cable like the Sena FreeWire that would allow the rider to use their Goldwings infotainment and talk on their CB radio. Yeah. They said, no, you can, because you can take a Cardo and you can pair it to a new Goldwing. Well, everybody doesn't have a new Goldwing. There are more older GL 1800 bikes on the road than there are the new Goldwings. And also, even the Goldwings prior to the GL 1800 had the DIN cables. So you could take a 95 Aspen cable that had the same DIN cable as a 2016 Goldwing. So you had older Goldwings, you had GL 1800 Goldwings. You have more of those on the road than the new Goldwing. But Cardo said, well, we can take our wireless headset and pair it to a new Goldwing. So, they don't even seem interested in being able to tap into the market for the older Goldwing CB radio.
It's a safe lane.
I talked to Cardo about, hey, there should be a delete option. The Cardo's a great headset, but I shouldn't have to delete the entire group just to take out one rider. You should be able,
and that's an easy fix.
Right, that should be something that should be able to be corrected within an update. And here we are,
Right.
almost 2 years later, and they just keep giving me the same excuse. So I'm like you. I think Cardo has found their niche. They may feel like they're in a safe lane of travel.
Yep.
They're flying at a certain altitude, and they have it in cruise control. They're not trying to take it higher, in
Right.
my opinion. But at least Sena is saying, hey, let's try this. Let's see if we can, let's see if we can hack into the Gold Wing. Let's see if we can create an action camera. Let's see if we can make a Bluetooth device that transfers over to DMC. Let's see if we can connect the headsets without having to pair the headsets. So
Right.
at least I give Sena credit in that regard of trying to take it to the next level. Even if they're unsuccessful, nothing beats a failure but a try.
Right. I agree, Chris. I agree. But for me and for me and my home, we're gonna stick with Sena.
And I can totally understand that. I can totally understand that. In front of this big old truck that's coming on. Big old truck.
Well, hey, Chris, it's been a pleasure talking with you.
Okay, my brother.
And is this gonna be on YouTube or Facebook?
YouTube.
Okay.
I'll put it on YouTube. Put it up.
Yeah, shoot me a text message when it gets ready to roll.
Okay. I'll do.
And I'll be interesting to see what kind of comments you get out of this. How many followers do you have now?
Somewhere probably around somewhere in the neighborhood of 15,000, 14,000 or so.
Wow. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, you're becoming a YouTube influencer in the Gold Wing world.
Yeah, that's what I'm being told.
Yeah. And a lot of people are going to hear this conversation that we had today, and they're going to. I can see a lot of people making a switch or making a decision to go with Sena just based on what we're talking about today.
Yeah,
And
I have both of them. I have the Sena, I have the Cardos, and I'll be doing some videos later talking about which one I like better. But there's no rule of thumb that say you can't have both.
Right. Oh no, of course not.
So I think a lot of people will be switched. Some people may decide to go to a Cardo. Some people may decide to switch to a Sena. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and the other day when I had a Cardo Packtalk in my possession for a short time so that I could, figure out how the universal mesh pairing works or universal pairing works. And I got to tell you, one of the things that I did not like about the Cardo was that the buttons. I'm used to the jog dial. I'm used to the easy-to-find buttons. But, if I've never used a Sena and all I used would be a Cardo, I'd probably be saying the same thing about the Sena, that they're too hard, they stick out too much. But I just found it very, you got to know where to search, where to push, and what to tap with that. It just, I think that could be a better design on Cardo's on Cardo's point.
Mark,
anyway.
Mark, let me say this, and I know you got to go. I totally agree with you. Somebody called me today and asked me. They said, "Which one should I buy, the Cardo or the Sena? Which one? Whatever you tell me to buy is what I'll buy." And I thought about it for a moment to myself, and I thought the exact same thing you just said. For a new person coming in that has no idea about either or. I totally agree with what you said. The Cardo is harder to work the buttons. I mean, the buttons are small, and that's, like I said, I don't want to put everything out there in this video, but I'm going to be bringing this up in some later vids, telling you the difference and what I like and what I don't like. But since you brought it up, that's one of the things that I feel like Cardo could have improved on is those buttons. They're so small, and when you're trying to operate it, it can be confusing. So what I'm saying is that the Sena is a lot more user friendlier in certain areas, and that's one of the areas because all you're dealing with is just a jog dial and the mesh button. And then another thing about the Sena that I like is that everything that you do on the headset manually, you can do it within the app, or you can pretty much do it in voice commands. So I think that that gives the Sena an edge over Cardo. I'm not going to say totally across the board, but in that particular area, I think that's one improvement that Cardo should improve is on the functions of their buttons, the locations, and how big the buttons are. Because we have on gloves, I mean, you're blind. But at least with the Sena, you know, you got better dexterity to know where the buttons are.
Yeah, exactly. Because they punch out at you.
Right.
You don't have to search for them. You can feel that jog dial even with a glove on. You can feel that foam button. You can feel that mesh button.
Right.
You can feel that little lip to release the mesh antenna. You can feel it all with the glove on.
Correct.
You know, and that's what I love about the Sena is that it is now it is so easy to use.
Right.
And that's you know, that for me, that's the edge over a complicated piece of equipment that, you know, when you're dealing with an older segment of riders that are not tech savvy.
That could be the deal breaker.
That could be the. What do I got to do? Oh, I just got to push these two buttons and then press that one, and that's it. I'm on. I don't have to do anything else. Nope, that's it.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, that was the big seller. You know, when we first got the Sena 30Ks in our club, you know, that's what we sold them on, and then we realized, man, this is very complicated to figure out how to do all of this.
Right.
And we put them back in the box. Once they rolled out the firmware update, you know, even the one that they have now, which is, you know, by far the best.
Right.
Now it's easy. It's super easy. You know, and even, you know, the older guys that are not tech savvy, they have no problem figuring it out.
Right.
And if they don't, then it's easy to explain to them what to do.
Yes.
So, anyway, hey, Chris.
Okay.
Are you all done with your ride?
No, I have about another 120 miles to go.
All right. Well, hey, man, it's been a pleasure talking to you. I got some honeydews to do, and I look forward to watching this on YouTube here shortly.
Okay, I'll let you know when it's up.
All right, Chris. Take care.
Thank you.
God bless you, man. Bye-bye.
Thank you. All right, bye-bye. And that was Motomark. Motomark is out there in California. Motomark has been with the Sena for a while now, for several years. And he uses the 30 and 50s in his group. And he wanted to share some of his experience about the new Sena 50 or the 30K with us. And I hope that some of the things that we talked about in this video actually help some of you guys out. I know a lot of you out there are wondering, well, should I buy a Sena? Some of you are out there wondering, should I buy a Cardo? Some of you guys may watch me and you say, wait a minute, he's wearing a Cardo. And then you watch another video and say, wait a minute, he's wearing a Sena. So which one should I get? I'm confused. I don't know which headset to buy. You know, which one should I get? And so that's why we're having these discussions to try to go ahead. You're on with Caliente, live on the Go Wing. Go ahead.
Hi, Chris. This is Peter from. Hi.
Go ahead, caller. Who is this?
This is Peter from Minnesota. Rise and shine.
Minnesota. How you doing, Peter?
I'm doing great. I'm a full-time private educational tutor, and I was just walking into a student's house.
Okay.
And now I'm done, but I did take my bike today, so right now I'm calling from my helmet.
Okay. What kind of helmet setup do you have?
I have a Bell helmet, and I have the Sena 20, and so I have the speakers in there, you know, with the microphone, and I have the Bluetooth hook up to my cell phone.
Okay.
And yeah, and I'm out. Go ahead.
So you have the Sena 20, you said?
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds pretty good. I'm talking to you via my Sena 50, the Sena 50S. How does it sound to you on your end in Minnesota?
It sounds great.
Okay.
Sounds great. Sounds very good.
Yeah. So
I am. Go ahead.
No, I hear you loud and clear. Go ahead. Anything, a story you like to share, or what's on your mind?
Oh yeah. Well, I'm actually out in the country right now, I'm west of Minneapolis, out in a city called an area called Victoria, Minnesota.
Okay.
And my student lives out there, and it's kind of an interesting day. They've been threatening showers, but it's not supposed to rain again until 11 p.m.
Okay.
And we got about 76 degrees, and so. But what's making it interesting is that's my last student of the day, and my daughter. She's transitioning, moving from Seattle, Washington, to Minneapolis,
Okay.
and so she went out to Seattle to pack up her stuff, and she's in her car driving back, and she's going to rendezvous with a friend in Wyoming or Montana now, I can't remember, but they're going to camp.
Okay.
And then, but she called me today. She said, "Hey, there's an item I need for camping that I forgot. Can you bring it over to Candace's house before she leaves to meet me?" And that would be, she's leaving tomorrow. So I am actually on a trek right now from Victoria, Minnesota, which is on the west side, all the way to almost Minneapolis. And so it's going to bring me everything from out in the country onto Highway 212 at 65 miles an hour all the way into St. Louis Park. And so I'm going to go from birds to traffic.
Okay.
So I thought it'd be kind of fun to call you.
Okay.
So I'm on the bike.
Hey, that sounds pretty good. I'm glad you called me. Now, how long have you been watching my videos, Peter?
Probably close to 5 years now.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to get the bike, and I had to wait a little while, about a year or so, and so I just would go on YouTube and watch whatever Goldwing rider I can find and just dream,
Okay, what year is your Gold Wing?
It's a 98.
A 98. Okay, Now you got the SE. Does it have the CB radio or?
No, it's the Aspen K Type A, and it does not have the CB radio, but I modified it a little bit. I put my own antenna on, and then I bought one of those Midland handhelds.
Okay.
And then when I want to take the CB along, I just slap it on the bike and hook it up, and then the Bluetooth will hook to my helmet.
Okay, now since you have the 98, does your bike have the 5-pin DIN cable?
Say it again.
Does your Gold Wing have the 5-pin DIN cable, or like plugging in a helmet?
Yes.
Okay. Are you aware that 5-pin DIN cable on your 98 is the same DIN cable that's on my 2016 Honda Gold Wing?
No.
Yeah. So
no.
When Honda made your year bike, they kept that 5-pin DIN cable into place, so you actually could plug in a Sena FreeWire if your bike had. Well, I'm not sure if it'll work on your year, but you could actually take a wired helmet and plug it into your DIN cable to access the Honda Gold Wings infotainment. You could take that same helmet, plug it into my 2016, and do the same. So.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew. The guy who sold me the bike sold his helmet just before he sold me the bike. So I went with the Bluetooth hookup instead of getting the helmet with the wire.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's kind of maybe 6 one, half dozen the other. But it's when I got Christy in the back, we're hooked up with the Sena. But at the same time, it's kind of nice to have it piped in without any wind noise too. If you had the wire hookup. But for about 5 years I've been following you, and I found the bike in Wisconsin with 32,000 miles on it.
Okay.
And so
let me ask you this, Peter. Did my videos influence you to help buy? Did my videos influence you to help buy a Gold Wing, or was that something you already kind of had plans to buy?
Yeah. No, I wanted a big bike. I learned how to ride in high school. We rode in the dirt all the time. In fact, I never rode on the road. I rode dirt only, and then I let it go. And then my son, Peter, he his dream was to be a race car driver, but he never did it because it's too much money, so he decided to race motorcycles.
Right.
So he got a bike, and he actually races on the track now, too. And so when he got his bike, I said, hey, you know what? You got me interested again. But I never rode on the road, so I took 14 hours of training for the road. And then I wanted a big bike. That's what I like, is a big bike. I wanted to be seen. I wanted to be comfortable. So I knew I wanted a Goldwing. And so when I started watching you, I would just ride along with you and dream I was in the driver's seat with you.
Do you have a trailer, Peter, or you just have just a bike?
Do I have a what?
Do you have a trailer?
Oh, no.
Bike?
I don't, but someday I think I'm going to get one because I have food sensitivities, and I can't just stop any place and eat. My body doesn't process chemicals very well.
Right.
So I have to eat organic food, and so that's kind of hard to find on the road. So I have to take my food with me. I dehydrate food like campers do. And so I really can use a trailer, but I don't have that set up yet. I've been just using all the storage plus one of those carriage bags you can put on your rack.
Right.
Get a bunch of stuff in too. And but yeah, I think it would be neat to get one someday. I see you take every place you go.
Yes, sir. Everywhere I go, it makes my ride experience better. I can carry, things that I wouldn't normally carry with me. It just makes, my ride experience more enjoyable, knowing that I can bring my trailer if I want to bring extra gear, extra pair of boots, extra helmet, just some things that I would probably not take with me if I didn't have a trailer, or if I just needed to stop at a grocery store. Let's say if I had a long ride and I wanted to stop at a grocery store and pick up a few groceries, I can throw them in my trailer, or if I go out to eat, I can throw my to-go items into the trailer. So it makes your ride experience better. It makes it better when you can have a trailer.
Absolutely. How is it for swerving around unexpected things?
How is it what now?
How is it for swerving around unexpected things?
It doesn't. It doesn't. I mean, if your trailer is swerving, your bike is swerving. So generally, if it's enough wind to push the trailer, it's going to be enough wind to push your bike. So you're not going to really have a problem.
What I meant was, if you have something in the road unexpectedly that you have to swerve around,
that's not a problem.
Not a problem. Right.
Pulling a trailer doesn't affect the handling of your motorcycle.
Right. Right.
It can affect it, but it generally is not going to affect the handling of the motorcycle. Not to a point to where it hinders your ride. Now, if you did, could you manage a bike better without the trailer? Sure you could, because the trailer is not on the bike. But if you're pulling the trailer, it doesn't hinder your ride. It doesn't change your ride. So I think a lot of people have the misconception of pulling a trailer, and they actually never pull one, so they don't know they just have preconceived ideas of what it would be like to pull a trailer. But until you actually experience it, it's just it's a feeling that I just can't explain. You just have to experience it for yourself. But I will say, once you start pulling a trailer, you would probably not want to pull your trailer. You're going to want to pull your trailer with you everywhere you go. So you learn how to pull the trailer. You learn the dynamics of the bike, and it's totally enjoyable.
Yeah, I can identify with that. When I was growing up, my dad trailed a lot of boats. I pulled a lot of trailers, with the car. It's not the same as a motorcycle, but I understand pulling trailers for sure. Well, that's neat. It's really neat. I noticed you pull it every place you go. And man, you've been around. I saw a video out in Washington D.C.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How long ago was that?
That was just a few days ago.
Wow.
Yeah, that was just a few days ago. You know, I'm subject to ride from coast to coast. Yeah, that was just a few days ago, Peter.
Nice. Are you on the bike now?
I am on the Gold Wing as we speak. I'm out on the interstate, talking to you via my Sena 50.
And what state?
I am
what
in the
state are you in?
I'm in the Magnolia State, the great state of Mississippi.
State of Mississippi ain't interested in your meteorological assessments.
You tell him the state of Mississippi is only interested in getting this here ditch cleared by sundown.
State of Mississippi wants this here ditch cleared by sundown. You got that, boy.
Mississippi. All right. Yeah. Well, right now I'm doing 65 down Highway 212. That sounds okay, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If you would have told me you was on a Cardo Packtalk or a Sena, I would have believed you. If you would have told me you was on like a Sena 50 or a Cardo Packtalk or a 30K, I would have believed it because it actually sounds pretty good.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's
yes,
good.
Sir.
Yeah, that music sounds good too when I play it. A lot of times I like to listen to gospel music. A lot of times I'll go to Pandora and then pipe it in, and I really enjoy that.
Yeah.
It's for me, listening to music while I ride is really enjoyable.
Right.
And I don't get to ride. I mean, my life the way it is, I don't get to ride in groups. Really, I haven't ridden in a group yet.
Right.
My 4th season with the Gold Wing, I end up riding by myself. But it's always a treat when I get at least one motorcycle in front of me.
Right. Yeah, I totally understand. I totally understand.
You feel like. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying, Peter, I'm gonna go ahead and end this call before my battery dies.
Okay.
I just wanted to say, man, I appreciate you calling in. We out here on the Gold Wing on my Sena 50. I hope that my audio is legible to the people that's watching this video. And I just appreciate you, Peter. Thank you very much, man.
Yeah, shout out to all you guys that ride with you. Mike, I don't remember. What's his handle again?
Which guy?
Mike, he's on. I see him sometimes with it's on YouTube.
What kind of bike? What kind of bike is he on again?
Memphis Mike. He rides
Memphis Mike. Oh yeah. Memphis Mike. Yeah.
Shout out to Memphis. Yeah. Shout out to Memphis Mike.
Memphis Mike. Yeah, I spoke with Mike a couple days ago.
Yeah, I saw him take his bike to the racetrack and clock it.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you go. Be safe. God bless you.
Okay. All right. Appreciate you, Peter. Thank you, man.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Bye now.
Call me anytime.
Okay.
All right,
bye now.
You. All right. Thank you. And that was Peter. Peter from Minnesota. Peter from Minnesota watches my vids all the way up in Minnesota. He said he's out on his 98 Gold Wing traveling. So I thank God for Peter. Thank God for Motomark out in California that called in, shared his story with me on the 30 and the 50. And I hope that the videos help you guys out. If you guys have any questions or any comments, put it down in the comment section below. If you would like to chime in on anything we talked about, be sure to put that in the comment section below. I'm going to go to the phone line, but I need to change the battery before the battery dies. You on with Caliente live on the Gold Wing. Go ahead.
Mr. Caliente, how you doing, sir?
Hey, now who is this?
This is Jeff from Atlanta.
Jeff? Hey, what's going on, Jeff?
Not much, man. I'm just wanted to reach out to you, tell you I enjoy what you're doing, and I'm newly a Gold Wing owner, loving every minute of it, trying to get into it like you guys.
Okay.
But just enjoying everything you do out there.